Okay, well, I'm back today for day 2, and I put my first video up, and yes, it was choppy, but I got it up, and I actually had 2 views on it, so thank you for whoever watched yesterday. I'm talking quiet today because my husband ended up having to work from home, and don't you hate it when somebody's invading your space? Okay, well, I love my husband, so I won't complain. I was driving home from downtown today, and gosh, I hate listening to the radio because it's just, when people talk on the radio and it's kind of depressing. And then you listen to songs, and sometimes you don't hear the right song, and you get in your own headspace. So I couldn't wait to get home to craft, and now I just got to decide what I want to craft because kind of getting that yucky thought process and you don't know what you want to do. But I have a couple ideas that I want to try today, so let's see if they work out. Hey, maybe my face isn't so oily today. I don't look like a grease spot, I guess. Yeah, I'm not so much liking this, what do we say, view? Maybe I'm going to be one of those faceless people and I'll just talk on my YouTube. How does that sound? Anyways, so this is what I want to make today is these vases that I got from the Dollar Tree. And actually here I'm showing you it's one vase, but you can either have it this way, or if you turn it upside down, you can use it that way. I just have some of the dried flower picks in there from Dollar Tree, but you can put candles in it, you can actually put candy in it. You can see where I have the wide part up here or the narrow part up here. It fits really nice with the one of those wide pillar candles in it, and you can see I have it dark here or lighter here. And last year I did it, and I have a big square candle. That was a glass from a candle jar from, I don't know, somebody had given me actually a flower holder from a flower arrangement on the top, and then that was a glass candle holder from the bottom. But you can flip that over and put a candle in the top and have a large base. But in the top there I just put some straw and pumpkins and a little candy corn that I made last year. So I've just gotten a lot of comments from people when they come over and they see those pieces in my house. So it's a quick video I thought I can put up today, and let me get back to my craft table and I'll show you how I did it. Okay. So now I've got my poop in a group here, and what I'm going to use today is I picked these 2 vases from the Dollar Tree, and what I did was I looked for something that had the same base size. Now that one that I showed in my intro, the square ones did not, and that works perfectly fine. But I was just looking to show you something that had the same base size. So I looked through my glass, what I had in my glassware. So I had this one, which is a standard size that they have at the Dollar Tree. And I had this. Now this particular one I had to recycle. I had probably dried flowers in here, but it won't matter because that's all this mess is just on the inside. So I can still paint the outside, and this is all clean. Well, now it is. The outside is all clean. So that's where the paint is going to be. So these are the 2 pieces that I'm going to be painting, and what I use for my paint is the Waverly Ivory color. And then I'm going to be using this Annie Sloan wax in the dark. It's just a wax that you put over the paint. And then I'll use the E6000 to put the 2 glass pieces together. And for the purpose of the video, I'm going to use the hot glue so that you can see it all put together. But yeah, you'll want to use the E6000. And pardon if you hear my puppy chewing his bone and whining to get out of my craft room, but I don't like him chewing his bone all over the house. We have new carpet, and he can't chew the bone everywhere. So let me get started. You don't need to see me painting a whole bunch of, everybody knows how to paint, but what I like to do when I do paint the glassware, just because I like to do the strokes all in the same direction, because when I put the wax on, you're going to see how the wax goes on is going to show how the strokes in the paint went. So it's usually 2 coats of the paint, of the chalk paint, and then 1 coat of the wax. So let me get started painting the chalk paint. Let's see here. I just get so tickled when I think how many times I've wasted big bottles of paint. Anyways, so like I said, if I paint in one direction, it's just because you're going to see the nice brush strokes once I put that the wax on when this is dry. So it's kind of neat because it's not going to be perfect, and that's what brings the dimension into the final project. Yeah. Anyway, so I won't keep you sitting here watching me paint and babble on to myself. So I'm going to keep painting these 2 glass pieces in ivory, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I start to apply the wax. So see you in just a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and I've painted my 2 pieces, and I had a few things I wanted to touch on. And I know I said I don't want to make this a long video, and I'm really not going to make this a long video. But one, on a funny note, I just had that show $1 Million Listing on cable while I was painting. Have you ever thought, do you think those guys ever like watch YouTube? Do you ever think they have to put anything on to find out, or they ever watch anything funny on YouTube? I don't know, that was just a, you know, I'm like ADD all over the place, but their lives just sound so rough, right? So rough. Anyways, okay, that was my side note. But I was thinking about when I'm in the process of creating this YouTube channel, whether it takes off or it doesn't take off, and my mind is going about what I want this to look like, or what I want out of doing YouTube, whether anybody follows me or they don't follow me when I ramble on to the universe. Ever since I was a kindergarten teacher doing my student teaching way back in the 80s, I always am a firm believer that you learn from everybody. Even though I was the teacher, I always believed that I would walk away every day learning something from the students. I learned something from everybody. So here I sit today doing a YouTube video, and I am showing you a craft. And yes, you are searching YouTube to try to learn something, to try to learn a new craft or to get an idea, and I am showing you something, but I want to open this up for so I can learn something even though I'm doing it. I had a couple questions as I was doing this. I told you about painting one way so that when you put your wax on, you'll get the same effect. So because the strokes will show the dimension, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. And so it dawned on me, since I already have a couple of these made, I wanted to try something different. So I used the small round sponge. So just in a section of this, I sponge painted so that when I do the wax, I want to see how that comes out. So I can see if it's different and how different it would be. Then it dawned on me that how do people seal their paint on glass? When you paint on glass, do you seal your paint? So I'm putting out questions out there. Just because I'm doing a craft doesn't mean I have all the answers. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I would like to, on my channel, if anybody's out there watching, if you'd like to chime in and give suggestions, like help me out. I'm never object to suggestions or help. I'm always out there asking for help. So I did go back and look at the 3 that I made, and they did not chip, and they are pretty well sealed from the wax. But I was looking, I'm like, oh no, it's chipping, but I realized it's chipping just because it's still curing. So I'm pretty sure that after the wax seals it, and after a day or 2, it will be sealed. But I was wondering if you use different mediums on your glass. Is there something you use to seal it? If you can see here, it kind of chipped. And my other ones did as well. But when I rub my hand over it, it doesn't peel anymore. So I guess the wax will ultimately seal it. But once again, if you use something on your glass, whether when you paint it with different types of paint, is there something you put over it to seal it, to hold the paint? And I don't know if you can even see the difference, but I used the paint strokes here, the up and down paint strokes, and then I did can you even notice the difference? I guess you can see the difference between the brush strokes, and then I did just the dabbing here, so that when I use the wax. Now, this is the wax I've used for years. It's called Annie Sloan Soft Wax. Now, I'm not going to lie, the Annie Sloan Soft Wax is the only wax that I've used, so I have not gone out and bought wax, and I am 100% sure there is a bazillion waxes out on the market. I just have used this because of my chalk painting on furniture, and I've used Annie Sloan chalk paint on some furniture, and so I purchased this. And this, I still have the price tag on here, so don't beat me up. It is, this little can was $16. And you say $16. I said $16 flippin' dollars. What the heck? But can I tell you, $16. I gotta open this thing. Never that smart with opening cans. I have something here I can open it with. Where's my doohickey to open my cans? There we go. Okay, now I have finished furniture. I finished dressers. I've actually finished my bathroom cabinets. So that's a vanity, the cabinet over the commode, and the cabinet that's behind the door. So I finished those cabinets, and I've done a bazillion crafts, and I have this much left. I don't know if you can even see. I still have probably 2/3 of this can left. So I know that I choked when I saw this was $16, and you can't even appreciate that I have 2/3 of this can left. So this $16 has gone a long, long, long way. I just like the way it's come out. Somebody had recommended it to me when I was doing some furniture work, and I don't do a lot of furniture work. So that's what I've used. I am sure you can use any wax, any furniture. This is just, like I said, for painted furniture and walls. But I use the dark wax, and that's what I'm going to use on this glass. And just, I use a good chunk to start with. And this is pretty dry. I mean, it is dry to the touch, but like I said, it chips right now until it totally sets. But I just use a good chunk, and you can see how it globs. And then I rub it kind of in a circle. And it obviously is dark where it originally goes on. And here you go. You can make it darker or lighter depending on how you want this to go on. And you can see how the brush strokes come through. So it kind of looks like wood bark on here. The way the bark on a tree is. I don't know if you could appreciate that right in here. So I don't know if that's coming through, but what I wanted to, so like I said, you can do that big dollop, just like that daisy, that daisy, when I say dollop, I don't know if you have that commercial wherever you are, but that daisy sour cream commercial, dollop of daisy. Okay, I'll stop rambling. I go off on tangents. But so you can make it super, super light, or you can make it dark like that. But it will start setting if you don't rub it in fairly quick. You can see where that settles. But in that case, I take a little more, and it kind of will help that spread a little easier. So as soon as you set it in, as soon as you put it on, you're going to want to start spreading it because it will soak in. So you want to move it. You want to move it as soon as you put it on. Now, let me go to this piece where I did the brush, where I just did the dabbing. Let me see how that appears compared to the brush strokes. Sorry, I told you I can't do two things at once. Okay, I put a lot on here just so I can see the contrast from the paintbrush stroke to the pouncing of the foam brush. Oh yeah, there's a big difference. Okay, you're gonna see this difference here in a second. You can see where the stain really soaks into the pouncing of the brush. Can you see that difference? It's a nice, I mean, if you're looking for the different technique, that definitely looks textured, different texture. That almost looks like a suede, like a suede jacket almost. It's quite unique. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? See, I'm so goofy with this. I don't know how the lighting is. I hope when I look back at this, it'll look better. Anyways, so let me finish doing this staining. And if anybody out in the computer, I mean the internet world, is seeing this, which you might and you might not. If you want to leave a comment just to say, hey, I saw your video, or if you have any ideas for me, comments, positive, negative, suggestions, if you have ways of doing things, I am so open. Like I said, I am not just teacher, I learn. in all the areas that I work in. I work in many different areas. I don't just have one job. I actually hold 3 different jobs. And in all those jobs, I tell people when I'm lecturing and teaching, I also teach different things. I always tell them, just because I'm standing up in front of the group does not mean I have the answers. I always walk away every day learning something from somebody. So, that being said, if anybody's watching this at some point, even if it's 3 years from now, leave a comment for me, and hopefully I'll watch it someday and say, oh my gosh. And, you know, when I strike it big and rich and, you know, I'll mention you in my videos and shout out and whatever. I'm just joking. But it's nice to dream about, right? So that I can be on $1 million listing buying that next big mansion in New York from Frederick. Okay, I'll stop rambling, but thanks for listening. I'll be back when this is done. Okay, so I'm back, and boy, did they really come out different. I'm really hoping you can see the difference here, that it came out. Maybe if I put on another light, that could make it even worse. But if you put these on top of each other like I'm intending to do, I think that's worse. If I'm putting these on top of each other, you can see how that's gonna look. I wasn't planning on making it 2 separate. I just wanted to see the difference for myself since I already have these vases together. But these are really nice just separate. I had just come across that idea one day when I was in my family room, and I was just like, you know, it would be really nice if I had something to put candy in. And then I'm like, but that's too big to put candy in. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, but that's small. And then I put my 2 ideas together. I said I could put flowers in here and candy in here, and I could save space, and my brain just went somewhere. So I put the 2 together one day, and 2 different vases together, and I could flip it over one day and flip it back the other, and so I made one that had 2 ways to use it. So this would be really nice just to put some foam in, which I'm going to end up doing because it had foam in here before. Remember, I'm repurposing this. So I might just use this separately and have that towards the back, and have this separate and just put a candle in here. It fits perfect. This is from the Dollar Tree, so you can put one of those pillar candles, the electric pillar candles, or just a regular pillar candle. Or you can, because they have the exact same base, put the hot glue, the E6000 or the hot glue. For right now, I'm going to put the hot glue because I can pull it apart. I wanted to show you some finishing touches and get your opinion on something here. What is this? I'm just having a really hard time with this glue gun for whatever reason. I want to be able to pull this apart, but I wanted your opinion because I might change mine up, the ones that I had put together that I showed in my intro. So I have in my intro, I have rope, the nautical rope from Dollar Tree. I have it like this, okay? And it's pretty, you know, run-of-the-mill nautical rope so that the 2 seams just look like one. And that's fine with me. I think especially with the fall leaves, I think it looks great. But I was sitting here thinking, what do you think about, instead of gluing the nautical rope, I have this, this great black and white houndstooth ribbon that I plan on using a lot this fall. It's houndstooth. It's not the buffalo check like everybody's using, but I had this from last holidays, And it's just a version, I guess, kind of like a mini version of the buffalo check. Oops. Simple bow. I love making big bows, and I can do really big old bows and use my Bodabra and all kinds of different ways. But what do you think? I can change a bow out on this, and it kind of adds some flair to it, and put a nice flickering candle in there. I thought that looked really pretty. So if anybody's watching this, I would love your opinion. So there we have it. I already showed you what it all looks like at the beginning. So there's my video for today. I hope somebody watches this and somebody can give me some feedback and answer some of my questions, or ask me some questions, and maybe I'll have some answers. Thanks for watching, if anybody is watching, and I'm going to think of another quick video I can put together, and hopefully this is way shorter than yesterday's, and I'll stop rambling. Have a great day. Signing off for now. This is Allison. Thanks for watching.